Okay, number 23. Here we go. We did one like almost identical to this in class, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the same thing as the square root of -1 times the square root of 25 times the square root of 3 all over the square root of 3. What cancels? The root 3's cancel, right. And what is the square root of -1? What do we call that? I. And what's the square root of 25? 5i. Done.
Wait.
Okay, so I'll do it out. So this is I times the square root of 25, right?
Yeah.
And that is 5i, because the square root of 25 is 5.
Are you going to have the rules on the quiz?
Absolutely not. There's like 2 rules. You have to memorize more in like 15 seconds of history class than you had to do for yesterday's math class. So what does squared mean?
Not 51 makes sense.
Oh, 51.8. Do this one though. If we wanted to do this one's pretty straightforward. Yeah, do you just bring the square on the inside? No, you actually have to make it 4 plus 5i times 4 plus 5i. So that's going to be 16 plus 20i plus 20i plus 25i squared. So you end up with 16 plus 40i minus 25, because what is I squared? -1. So this is going to be, what's 16 minus 25? -9. So it's -9 plus 40i.
So you can.
So what's the first thing you should do? Isolate. And theoretically you could square at this point because there's no coefficients. You could, but what should you do first? Yeah, add that thing. Getting them on opposite sides minimizes the amount of work you end up having to do. So it's going to be 5r plus 1 minus 1, like that. Now what do you have to do? What's your only option? You have to square both sides. And remember, you're squaring both sides. So it's going to be 2r plus 11. But then on this side, you'll have 5r plus 1 minus 1 and 5r plus 1 minus 1. If you just square it, I die a little bit on the inside. And many of you, like, I lost years of my life looking at your quizzes yesterday. So many people, like, we literally probably said, like, I had you repeat after me, stand up, do a little jig, stop squaring things individually. So what happens? 2r plus 11 equals, you get 5r plus 1, and then you get minus 5r plus 1. Aubrey, shh, 5r plus 1. Oh, okay. So then how many? 2r plus 11 equals 5r plus 2. I'm just combining the ones right there. But then how many of those radicals do you have?
2.
So it's like this. Anything else that we can... Oh, yeah, there's a bunch we can combine, right? So cancel these and it becomes -3r. Cancel this and it becomes what? 9 equals -2. And here's the thing. Can you, if you wanted to, could you divide by -2 at this point? You could, absolutely. You don't really like to do that, though, because it makes a fraction. You don't really want to. At this point, you could, absolutely. And I didn't do this before because I really wanted you to focus on isolating. But if you wanted to, you could square at this point. And the reason this is nice is, yeah, the other side, you definitely have to multiply this out like this, right? But on the other side, what's -2 times -2? 4. And what happens to that radical? It just turns into 5r plus 1. So you can do that and avoid having the fractions at that point. Because here's the thing. If you divided by -2 and squared it, what's -2 squared? 4. You'd have 4 in the denominator. And to get 4 out of the denominator, what do you multiply everything by? So it would end up back where we are right now. What do you have to do to the left side? What do you have to do?
Wait. Can I ask this one question?
Go right ahead. FOIL. So you end up with 9r squared minus 27r minus 27r plus 81 equals 20r. I mean, I'm not super excited about this because the numbers are big, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be super bad. At this point, we need to combine like terms. So you have 9r squared minus, how many r's on the left do you have? 54r plus 81 equals 20r plus 4. So let's subtract 20r from both sides, and we should also subtract 4. So what do you end up with? 9r squared minus how many? 74r plus what? 70 what? Equals what? 0. Now at this point, what's that word that begins with F that we really have to do at this point? We're going to have to factor. And are you excited about factoring this? Not really. What's one reason? Give me one concrete reason why you're not excited about factoring it. The 9. The leading coefficient isn't 1 and 9 is pretty nasty because it's 1 and 9 or 3 and 3. And then what's another aspect to this that you're not super excited about? The numbers are big, right? The numbers are big. I'm going to show you something. And it's nice that it equals 0. That's the whole point of the exercise because now either one of those things has to be 0. So either 9x minus 11 has to be 0 or what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I went to x just to make it type it in a little easier. Do I have to? No. So you have either 9r minus 11 equals 0 or r minus 7 equals 0. So 9r equals 11, r equals 11 over 9, or what? R equals 7. Now here's the thing. These are only potential answers, right? What was the mathematical operation that we did that makes it likely, or at least more likely than average, that we have a false answer? Squaring, exactly. So these are potential answers. We would need to check them. I'm not going to have you check them right now. I'm not going to have you check them. You could check them and see. Now, are you guaranteed to have one that works?
No.
No. You could have done everything correctly and there's no solutions. One could work, both could work, none could work. Okay. You ended up first with this checkpoint, which is 0 equals 9x squared plus 34x minus 8. And Liv, what does it factor into?
9x minus 2
Yep.
times x plus 4.
Nice. So then you end up with x equals 2/9 or negative 4. And then, did anybody check these two?
Yeah. Neither of them work.
Neither of them work?
Yeah.
Really? Interesting. Okay, let's try the negative 4. I'm curious about this. So if x equals negative 4, and I'm going to check this, you end up with the square root of 1 plus the square root of 24 plus 40, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to end up with the square root of 1 plus the square root of 64, which is the square root of 9, which is 3. And on the left, you end up with the square root of negative 12 plus 5.
So square root of negative 7.
Wow, that's really not even close. Now, the only reason, wow, usually it's not that definitive. Usually it's like 7 instead of negative 7. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, fine.